Today is the first episode of a series of 5 episodes related to organizational and individual change. Why do some organizations succeed in changing? Why do some organizations don't succeed in changing? Why individuals succeed to change and why others don't? I'm going to present a model today for change that I developed during my studies at the Robert Gordon University in Aberdeen in Scotland. And this is called the 3L change model. Now, the first step of looking at organizational or individual change is actually looking at the destination. Imagine this is like a space shuttle trying to reach a destination. It's very important, first, where am I going and why am I doing this change? We see a lot of organizations and individuals doing a lot of movement, but it's not actually related to change. So it's a lot of movement, but in the same place. So why is that? Because there is a lack of destination. Where are we going and in which direction? So it's very important. Who sets the direction of change is the first L, which is the lead. So if an organization wants to change, it's very important to select the leader that has the competencies correct for the change journey. Why? Because this destination might need a leader who is a risk taker, so we need to select a leader who is really high in risk taking. It might need someone with great emotional intelligence, because we need to really gather everybody around the table, so with a very high emotional intelligence. Someone who deals with ambiguity. I don't know what I'm going to meet in the destination, so someone is really good with ambiguity. The problem is, in many organizations, we see them trying to create and achieve change using the same leaders that have been doing a completely different set of competencies. It's very important that not every leader is right for every single mission. Sometimes when you change the destination, you might need to change the leadership competencies that you have, which means that sometimes you might need to change the leaders on board. So it starts with the lead to set the right direction, put the pace, and it's very important to get this right. Same for individual change. Individuals are the leaders of their own journey, right? However, if I'm going to make it to a destination, I need to read who made it to this destination before. I need to read who tried what I'm trying to achieve, because I can read about them and I can learn from them. And this is how I build my leadership acumen and my leadership personality. So that's very important, and that's the first letter in the L. Next episode is going to focus on leadership and how do organizations and individuals build leadership acumen. Now, the second L starts with the body of the space shuttle, and which is the load. Now, whether it is an organization or an individual, carrying the right amount of load is the most important decision that you are going to make after selecting the right leader. Why? Because this load is going to be, if it's an extra load, then it's going to cost you a lot, and it's going to really stop you and pull you from achieving your destination in the right time. If it's a right load, then it's going to really benefit you because you'll need it during the journey. Same for individuals. If you're an individual who's trying to achieve change and reach a certain destination, sticking out, or hanging out with people who are extra load to you, like they are pulling you, stopping your speed from actually moving to where you want to be. Getting rid of those people is extremely important, because that you need to move fast with the lowest possible load so that you can reach your destination faster. So selecting who's on board from friends, colleagues, whom do you call, whom do you hang out with, is very important, because they will be either a liability or reliability, and we're going to talk about that in episode number 3. Now, the last part of it is actually your engine, the launch power, the power. Because the launch, which is the last part of the 3 L's, the launch is the power, the engine that's going to keep you going. We see many organizations, they start moving, and you see that a snowball is actually being formed, but what happens is it stops, so the change all of a sudden fades away. Why is that? Because they don't have enough energy to keep going. And that's very important to keep this journey moving. And we're going to talk about that in episode number 4. How to keep the team going and how to keep yourself individual. How do you keep moving towards your destination? Now, the last point, that this journey is against the gravity, right? The space shuttle is leaving the Earth perimeter. So it's actually going against gravity. it's very important to understand that when you're going against gravity, the rules of gravity say that you will be having more pulls than push. So it's extremely important that you focus on the launch in the beginning of the change journey, and to understand that your reverse or pulling dynamics will be very strong in the beginning. But if you follow this, and we're going to talk about it at each episode, so next episode we'll talk about the lead, the following one load, and the fourth one launch, and then the fifth one will wrap up the model and say about techniques and who applied it and succeeded, and who actually struggled in getting their change journey performed or done. So that's the model. Don't forget to share with any of your colleagues or friends who think that you think that they can benefit from this information. And don't forget to subscribe, and see you on the next episode, where we're going to talk about the first dimension, which is the lead. Thank you very much, and see you next episode.